All right, we're back at Northtown. What do we got today?
2019 Ford 6.2 liter.
Nice.
Yeah.
I've got a couple buddies with them and they love them.
Do you? Yeah?
Yeah, they love them, but...
I don't know anybody with them.
No? No. But that one, the customer is not loving it.
No.
No.
He's not happy. Not happy.
Okay, so Ford's overhead camshaft 6.2 liter is a direct competition with GM 6.2 and the Hemi 6.2. While the LS version and the Hemi are push rod engines, meaning that the camshaft is in the block, Ford stuck with their overhead cam design but only uses one camshaft per bank. But it still uses a hemispherical head. Best of both worlds? Guess we'll find out. All right, so we've got the 30 feet per second there. Touch high there. Yeah. Oh, hey guys. Oh, you think that I only use the tools in the shop? Well, I hate to break it to you guys, but this computer stuff and this thing called the internet is actually how we let you guys see what we're doing in the shop. And that reminds me of today's sponsor, which is Surfshark. Now, if you don't know what Surfshark is, it's a VPN, and what a VPN does is change your IP address to a country that you're not actually from. Now you're wondering, why do I care about that? Well, maybe you live in like a country like Canada, and you're jealous of the Americans who get all these extra shows on this trendy motoring channel show. Or say your government is blocking newscasts from you on social media and you want to see what's up. Well, what Surfshark does is let you choose where you want your IP address to come from. So,
hey, that'd probably work on the flicks on the net.
Yeah, absolutely. All those extra shows that we don't get to see. The nice thing is, one account lets you put all of your devices on there, and it just adds an extra layer of protection from people tying your computer to what you're actually doing, where you're from. Anyway, I'm gonna keep going so that we can get this video up for you.
Hey Rich, don't forget to tell them about the discount code to get up to 6 months free.
And let's get into today's video. Here we go. Okay, so what is the story with this one?
The story is I had a misfire, took it to a dealership, diagnosed as no compression in number 8. They looked for a crate motor, couldn't find a crate motor. I think it was 18,000 and 8 or 9 weeks away. So they started looking into used, couldn't find a used in Canada, found some used in the US, but they were $8,000 US. So by the time you get it here, that's 12 grand at least. But there is a lot of paperwork complications for getting engines across now. So I didn't want to go that route. So now you're here. I do know, yeah, the first one was in the Raptor as a prototype. And then they ended up being in the Harley Davidson special editions. Yeah. And I think maybe in 2013 or 14, they ended up in all the F250s, yeah, 450s, and then the E450s and stuff like that. Yeah. The biggest complaint is oil consumption, which is a pretty normal thing nowadays. And broken springs and water pump I saw. Yeah. So.
And occasionally oil pan, but you didn't wash this thing?
No, this is exactly the way it came in.
So this, do you know the mileage on it?
199,000 kilometers.
So about 120,000 miles. Yes. Yeah. Which is
all original, no maintenance done to they.
No maintenance done.
It was a company, so regular maintenance has been done. Yeah. But nothing
extra.
Yeah. It was, they claim it as a very reliable, very strong engine. They really like it. They don't want to sell it. It's also 2019, so what are you gonna replace it with?
Yeah. So these are dual spark plugs. So you got spark plugs right there, and then let's come up and look inside here. Spark plugs down in that hole, which makes 16 spark plugs. These ones are hard to get at when it's in the truck, and these are single overhead camshaft 2 valves engines, right?
Take a look. Number 8 should be back there.
Yeah.
You see anything?
Yeah, right there.
Oh yeah, broken spring.
Yeah. I don't know if both are broken, but at least one is broken. It looks really good. So you know maintenance has been done.
Yeah, it's spotless. It's nice. Yeah. Must be running conventional oil.
Just that one, eh?
I actually know that they aren't. They are a full synthetic company, but they do oil changes every 5,000 kilometers, right. Guaranteed on the money.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's the problem. I bet it was noisy. Just the intake, right? Well, I might get lucky.
Yep.
Right on, let's pull it apart.
Variable valve timing.
Yeah.
It's got all the same solenoids. They all look like the same solenoids as out of like a 5 liter.
Okay.
Looks very similar. Looks identical to a, well, like a 5.4 and stuff.
Yeah.
Single overhead cam 4.6. That's what it's copied off of. Same modular engine, right?
Right.
They call this the BOSS.
Yes.
So, which is big block Ford.
Well, I like the oil pump right off the crank. That's nice. No stupid belts or chains or anything driving that.
Nope.
And then tensioners are.
They look like they're just aluminum bodied, or is that cast iron?
That's cast. You got a right and a left. Stamp nicely right on it. And yeah, pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
Nice. Don't forget about this one bolt into the block there.
It probably
It's
doesn't
nowhere
go,
else. But
it probably doesn't go into the block. It probably just like threads in right here.
Oh, okay. But you never know.
Just joking. I'm sure it'll be.
It's all the way through. It has no other purpose. But at least it'll tell you which head goes on what side, facing which way.
Really?
Yeah.
Is it heavy?
It's heavy enough.
I feel like you're laboring.
The cam is still on it.
So we didn't get completely away. There's actually valve reset there, and then right beside it, there's a, see that little line there? That's a valve recess too, but there that recess is a little bigger. Valve was hitting the piston.
That was what did it?
Yeah, see it? It's a bit shiny.
Damage is good in here.
Yeah, anyway, that's the problem. It shouldn't be like that.
Make it really easy for you to lap these valves, Scott.
I was gonna say that word's on the board of words that we don't use. Lap.
So, you notice really big coolant passages.
Yeah, they are. One thing I did read about this, they have a really big bore spacing, which allows for, like, it could be beneficial to the performance end of things if it ever came down to the performance end.
Okay.
Because then you can go bigger pistons, right?
Right.
And I'm not sure, we'll have to get the light. I read somewhere they thought it was a Siamese cylinder too. Do you have your light there?
So Siamese cylinder means that the cylinders are connected between the two down below.
Some are bigger, like some will be completely straight across. But no, it looks like there's a gap.
No, there's a gap, yeah. So that's below the, it's not Siamese.
Yeah, so like
'cause-
LS is Siamese. Like all your traditional LS blocks, they're all Siamese inside too. But yeah, I read somewhere they thought it was Siamese, but it's definitely not.
busted.
That'd be nice cooling though.
Better cooling, but weaker.
It's surrounding the whole water jacket.
Right, right. So you don't get a
More even
hot
space.
spot. Yeah. You're so strong, Scott. I tell you, you're my hero.
One little oil spray, even just one oil spray, and you wouldn't have all the issues with all these bolts and stuff. There's all the crust around them.
What's wrong with these 9.5 millimeter head bolts?
Yeah.
Do you not have a 9.5 millimeter socket?
Now this is from PEI, so what do they use on it? They probably would use salt on the roads there, right?
Probably.
And their winters are probably a lot harsher than here, right?
Yeah, yeah.
It's like the little outer layer of the bolt.
It just comes off. It makes it a 9.5 millimeter bolt.
That's why I don't use impact.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Oh, that one was gross. I gotta use the crud to keep everything tight.
You're almost down to shoving some magazine paper down in your socket, tighten her up again.
I'm gonna have to put like a center punch in it.
So 6-bolt main. You got the 4 and one's on the side, and they're actually bigger than an LS. Up the tiny little guys.
Well, technically Ford is better,
Technically, eh?
Technically. They make more power.
Sound like my daughter.
Technically?
Technically.
An A minus is an A. But they can't give A minuses anymore, because then that'd be discrimination to dumb people or whatever.
So that's number 7 or 8?
Yeah, number 7. Looks good. Looks in good condition.
All the rings are nice and free. Yeah.
There. You can feel a little bit go upwards on it. I feel it sharp.
Yeah.
It might just be the quality of the ring. See the ridge of the ring? You can actually see how it's undercut.
Yeah.
So that might be an issue with an oil consumption problem.
Yep.
But you can see the ring on it right there. See how you can see where it's broken in.
Yeah.
The shiny spot, and then it still creep its way up for breaking in, right?
Right.
But the top doesn't feel. It feels sharp. Feel it. So you can catch it on your thumb there.
Yeah, not near as bad as the bottom one. Your phone's ringing.
That's good. Hang on, wait.
And the bearings look great.
Yeah, bearings look really good. That's just from my hammer. But yeah,
The wooden part.
yeah, the wooden part. Yeah, everything looks really good.
Nice. Let's see number 8. Oh, it's got piston squirters too.
Does it?
Ready for boost.
Why is piston squirters ready for boost?
Because it keeps the pistons cooler for when you add all that extra pressure on top, right?
But don't they delete them?
I don't think so.
Yeah, all 5 liter builds I do for a boost.
Really?
Everyone's MMR sells a kit for it and everything.
Oh.
I can show you right now a kit if you want.
I thought it was the other way. You add squirters once you have a turbo.
You don't want to cut down on the oil. The oil pressure for one.
Let's put in a bigger pump.
And then you also don't want to disturb that rotating mass. So oil squirting on the bottom of the pistons creates a imbalance in the engine. So it just depends on what you want to do. If you start hitting some high RPMs.
How many different ringtones do you have?
For everybody. I have a different one for everybody.
What's mine?
It's a goose.
No ring line?
So that's the one that hit right there.
Yeah.
So check. Well, rings move good.
But
It did catch right up on the very top, so you'd think that it would. But you would, if this was dented and collapsed the top, you wouldn't be able to spin that.
Right. But
Yeah.
they're getting a full rebuild. You're getting new
Full
pistons
rebuild.
in it, right?
Yep. Yeah, they want a brand new engine back as if they were going to get an engine back from Ford.
Okay.
So.
Nice.
So we're using all the parts, right? Slotting them back in?
Yep.
So you have all these internals ready on eBay.
Yes.
7.5 pistons.
Yeah, they're 4-inch 20 bore, so we can't really put them into a 5 liter.
Same as the
We could increase the power of an LS and probably fit these into an LS.
You sound biased, but it's like
I'm not biased at all.
You love LSs.
5
How many
liters are just
LSs
amazing, and LSs are I can't say
How many LSs have you rebuilt? That's your bread and butter, man. You've done
yeah,
doing
probably
what?
well over.
Like 6 a year?
Yeah,
No, God, no. We have 6 in here right now. I would say probably this year alone, we've probably done,
probably 20, 30.
probably in our lifetime, probably over 150,
Yeah.
200.
How many 5 liters have paid your
5
Food.
liters, not many.
How many-
That's the thing.
Yeah, what a junk engine.
Now a 3.5 EcoBoost,
Yeah.
different story.
Yeah. So from here, what are you gonna do to the whole thing?
Completely strip it, caustic strip everything, mic up all the bores, and then start seeing what they have for aftermarket.
Okay.
Valve train is aftermarket. I can get valves, I can get springs, I can get all that stuff because they already knew that there's a spring problem from the years already.
Yep.
So Comp has a good set of springs, so does Pack, I'm pretty sure. So springs, and then we'll probably replace the damaged valves that are in it. And then I gotta find bearings and pistons.
Nice.
And then typical thing, caustic strip the block, prep all the block, everything, deck the block, and then bore and hone, assemble.
You're putting oversized pistons in?
Probably, yeah.
Oh, really?
Depending on what is available.
Okay.
But he wants a new engine back, so.
Yeah, okay.
But it won't affect any of his, like when you put a factory piston in. I think I've talked to you about this before. They go down in compression height, not when you go to a factory piston.
Yes.
So it's already calibrated for the computer. It's not going to cause a problem.
Right. So what he means is that on a factory oversized piston, the piston gets bigger and you do have more surface area on the top, but it doesn't change the compression ratio because they lower the rings down. So
Nope, not the rings. the piston pin.
Oh.
So your compression height, which is the top of your piston to the center line of the pin, it lowers your compression distance for a change in the compression.
Okay, so it stays exactly the same.
So the piston ring lands knot will stay the same. It's just the compression will stay the same.
Okay, and you can argue that in the comments.
Yes.
But that is the way.
You don't have to argue because I'm really not going to pay attention to it.
Because you're right.
Yeah.
Nice. Awesome. Well, can't wait to see this one finished. And then, yeah, we'll go from there. Thanks, Scott. All right, so in recap on this 6.2, some of the common problems is an oil leak, not a big deal. A little bit of oil burning, well, pretty common in every manufacturer right now, but this valve spring is too common of an issue to not talk about. Now, the big problem is when those springs go, the valve has a chance to hit the piston, and that could mean a bent valve.
You hear that?
So, if you catch it early, hopefully you get away with it. You're able to replace the spring, and you can do that without taking the entire engine apart by just bringing the piston up to top dead center and using the appropriate tools to replace the valve. You can do a compression test afterwards to make sure that it worked properly, but when a valve hits a piston, generally it bends the valve and it doesn't close properly afterwards. This could be detrimental because if you're getting an incomplete burn while still spraying fuel in there, if that fuel doesn't ignite, you wash the cylinders, doing even more damage. So catch those problems early, and you have a much better chance of being a content Ford owner. So, do I regret putting a Coyote in the Bronco instead of that 6.2? No. I've got friends that are really happy with them, but I am happy with this quad cam 5.0. Brad managed to tune this one up to 530 horsepower to the crank without doing anything. That's just a tune using the Holley standalone system for that. So I'm happy with this. Definitely comment down below if I missed something or I got something wrong or you disagree. These videos are just to let you guys know potential costs that could happen if you buy one of these vehicles. No engine is perfect. We have many of these videos out on many different engines on many different manufacturers, and we just really want to educate you guys. We want to see you guys buy a vehicle, either new or used, get the full use out of that vehicle with zero downtime and as little maintenance costs as possible. And you guys sharing your input down below really helps put multiple opinions on it rather than just mine. So remember, get out there and work on it. I don't hate all engines. We just want to educate, because if you're educated, you can end up getting much more out of your vehicle. So get out there and work on it. Enjoy it, drive it, use it to make you some money, and hopefully the 6.2 works out well for you guys. Here we go.